It's weird, I know. And I haven't done it for a few weeks. I think you'll understand why. Anyway, at midnight there are small ferries running through the city, so I can glide peacefully down the river past the glittering skyscrapers with no fear of being capsized or run over. It's safer. Well, I guess I wasn't so right about that. Now the locals like to call the river the Brown Snake. Cause it's mud brown, murky, and said to be full of bull sharks and catfish. Now I've never seen either, so I always kind of figured it was a folk legend to keep kids away from the water. Trust me, you really don't want to fall in. That shit is toxic. Anyway, a clear midnight. Full moon perfectly reflected in an unusually calm river, and the lights of the city looked just like stars beside it. As I floated past, lazily paddling, ripples would spread and turn the water into a natural light show. You can see why I used to love it, right? I was about to pass underneath the second bridge on my route when I heard it. A flapping noise. Alarmingly loud. I knew there was construction on the bridge above, so I just figured it was a top flapping in the breeze or something. But it still shook me to my core. It was in rhythm. Flap, 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 stop, repeat. To my imagination it was the sound of heavy plastic slapping against metal. Or clapping your hands while wearing leather gloves. Or huge wings, but that was silly. Just a tarp. Having neatly rationalized the situation, I proceeded to paddle. As I drew nearer to underneath the bridge, I slowed and then eventually came to a complete halt. The noise was louder and louder as I got closer. It was like it was happening inside my ear. It was driving me nuts. The shadow the bridge cast was ahead of me, a black slash cutting the brown snake in two. I normally don't mind going under bridges, but this shadow seemed off to me somehow. I don't know if that makes sense. It was like, not just a shadow but a void. Completely devoid of any light. I had this creepy feeling that if I was to try and cross it I'd end up falling straight down into some unknowable abyss. I'd had enough of that horrid noise. I was turning around. I swung my paddle into the water and quickly turned back, looking forward to that noise becoming quieter the further I got. Only it didn't. It was the exact volume even as I began to frantically paddle faster. How was it following me? What the fuck was it? What did it want with me? Finally it became a deafening roar. Then an immense force flung me forward. My world spun as I literally flew through the air for a brief moment before plunging into the vile, murky depths. I was completely blind down there. Every story about toxic sludge dumps and dredging and bull sharks and mutant fish swam through my mind. But I didn't want to put my head up. That thing might see me. I was running out of breath and wanted to scream into the void of black water. Finally, with a horrid half-gasp, half-shriek, I re-emerged. I looked frantically around, but my eyes were clouded by river mud. If something was coming for me, I was a blind duck in the water. I began to frantically paddle to the shore, just following the brightest light I could see. My ears were filled with water, but even then I could still hear it. Flap. 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 Stop. And then just stop. I finally made it to shore, adrenaline powering my every move as I scrambled up the slippery bank and onto the side of the inner city highway. Thank God someone stopped for me. I stumbled into their car, gasping and holding back tears. That ass when he told me I was bleeding. He was kind enough to drive me to the nearest hospital. I had a huge slash on my back. The nurses said they'd never seen anything quite like. 58 stitches and it's gonna be a long recovery. It's deep and still hurts like a bitch all these weeks later. I couldn't T-row even if I wanted to. But I really don't. I have no idea what happened that night, or what that noise was, or what the hell threw me like that and slashed up my back. I just know I'm never crossing that bridge or paddling on that river ever again.